Uncut Live Productions. Today's special guest, Mr. Stanford Fraiser. Yours truly, y'all know who it is. It's your boy, Mr. Uncut. Welcome to another edition of Uncut Live Productions. Y'all know the mission of Uncut Live Productions is where we focus on mind, body, soul, spirit, faith, social issues, politics, you name it. And as I always say, we keep it 100 or 1000. We will not be paused, edited, or muted. Anything you see, hear, hey, cards lay how they lay, and it just doesn't get no better than that. Eyes on the community. Who's out there watching that kingdom, y'all? Who's out there keeping their eyes on the kingdom, right? It's a lot that's going on. We have in gorgeous Prince George's, we have the elections that's coming up. And y'all know Mr. Uncut gonna bring you the heavy hitters, gonna bring you the people, gonna bring you the big shots to the scenes. Like I said, you never know who's gonna be here on the set. And so without any further going any further, we have a guest here, a candidate for, what is it again?
State's attorney.
State's attorney. Uh-oh. Y'all heard that, right? State's attorney. Uh-oh. In Prince George's County, Maryland. And so today, I'm just going to, just ask a couple of questions, introduce y'all to the, to the fine beloved brother. I know a couple of people who've been following me, seeing this fine, brilliant, smart, educated man out in the community, representing Black power, Black brilliance, Black excellence. And I had a chance to be in a couple of circles with this brother, and this brother said, look, I just want to bring change. And so I thought, why not I bring this brother that's a change agent to the set? So, sir, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well after all those, kind words. I hope I can live up to them.
Okay. So, you're running for state's attorney. Could you give the people just a little bit about your background?
A little bit of background. I was born in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I grew up here in Prince George's County.
Okay.
I went to Howard for college, where I studied history. Shout out to Stokely Carmichael, and community development. And I was involved actually when I was at Howard with the campaign to repeal the death penalty here in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I first got put onto that issue because me and a whole bunch of other people in student government around Troy Davis, right, and those protests trying to stop his execution. And unfortunately, the state of Georgia executed Troy Davis, but we took that pain, right, and we used that to inspire us to try to create local change.
Okay. So you got some real heavy activism. So you understand what it's like to be faced with such a.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, being involved in protests and trying to organize. I was a college student, so really, you don't have classes, come be a body for us. Hold these signs. But the more you get involved, things like Troy Davis, other things made me like, you know what? I always wanted to be a lawyer, but I think those experiences shaped the type of lawyer that I became, or that I am now.
Yeah, that's good. It's good to be able to have some, some people that understand what it's like to be out there, individuals like myself, constituents, and, just to be able to get out there and, and engage. Because I think I have always said any person that runs for a position, I feel that them running for a position should be the manifestation of the work that they've already done. I don't think you should just throw your name for any, political office just for the sake of doing it. I think it should always be because you want to further more, you want to, do more than what you're able to. So with that being said, what is it that I mean, you're in a race, you're choosing what was that magical moment that said, you know what, this is what I want to do and I got to do something different.
Yeah, I think the magical moment is not one moment; it's several. I say if you talk to my friends that know me from college or law school, they would say, "Oh, Stanford's running for office." That makes sense. If you ask them, "Oh, do you think Stanford would run for state's attorney?" They say, "Heck no." Right? So why this race in particular? And I guess to understand that some more background, I'm currently a public defender in Prince George's County in Baltimore City. I've been working in Prince George's County since I started joining the public defender's office August 2017, and when I announced they put me in Baltimore City just to avoid any conflicts of interest, right? And it was really my every single day experience as a public defender, right? Helping people that maybe you were arrested, your case got dismissed, and I was, hey, Mr. Fraiser, when I got arrested, I had $400 cash on me. I still haven't gotten it back. Can you help me get that back, right? And I'm writing letters after letters, trying to get that person's, their rent check that was not rent check, their rent cash that was in their pocket, trying to get that back from officers. Some days, I think the strongest story that I tell, and if you've been following me, you probably heard this story before, but I keep telling it because I think it's so powerful that in the state of Maryland, right, if you're a teenager charged with an alleged crime, you can be charged in adult court or juvenile court. And there's obvious differences, right? The juvenile court is more geared towards rehabilitation. Anything that happens in juvenile court is not public, right? It's expungible. So when you go on to your future life, you're not carrying those type of marks with you your entire life when you can get rehabilitated. So we had a case where there was a teenager charged as an adult, and we were going for something called a transfer hearing. In Maryland, if you're a teenager in adult court, you have at least the right to say, Your Honor, please transfer this back down to juvenile court. We had a case where the prosecution agreed, you know what, we'll consent to transfer, which we thought was like, woohoo. But then they said, only if the client pled guilty. Wow. Yeah, I have to pause right there, because that, to me, for two reasons. One, I don't believe any child belongs in adult court, right? But second, I don't think whatever determination you want to use should depend upon someone waiving their constitutional right to have a trial. And, after this case resolved, we took it to the incumbent, right? People in office met with her, talked to her about this issue. And she listened, but it didn't change. Right? And I remember talking with folks at the office being like, that isn't right. I don't think that's justice. I wouldn't do that if I was in that position. Right? And I kept on saying, I wouldn't do something like that. And I was like, well, then I should get into that position so those type of things don't happen. And I have so many of those type of stories being a public defender that said, you know what, I'm going to jump into this race. It's not the easiest race for me, right? It's actually really, really hard. It's humbling. But I just couldn't sit on the sidelines complaining anymore. Right? I couldn't be in my group text being like, man, y'all wouldn't believe what happened today. I said, you know what? Y'all won't believe it, but I'm about to change things.
Wow. And so you've had firsthand one-on-one to actually see what is working in the system. You've had the chance to explore what's not working. How long have you been a public defender?
So for about 4 years, I graduated law school in 2016. I did something where I clerked for a judge on the Court of Appeals that's the Maryland State Supreme Court. And how do you describe being a clerk? I basically am a ghostwriter. I'm the Quentin Miller to the judge's Drake. Okay. Right? I write the first draft of the hot opinions. You know what I mean? Then they color it up a little bit. So, but I through that experience, I did learn more about the law. Right? Like law school was great, but that experience I helped learn more and become a better lawyer. And then since August 2017, I've been in the courtroom representing people.
Wow.
Still in the courtroom today, Wow.
So, for Prince George's, how's that climate been for you?
Just like talking to the community, or
talking to the community, because you're running for this position, so something, have there been things that you liked, that you thought were really good, that have been changed, or vice versa? Or were there things that you have seen where you like, hold up, it could be reversed?
Yeah, hopefully I'm answering your question. I think when I'm on the campaign trail, it still feels so surreal for me to say that, right? But a lot of the time I want to take it back, actually. Right now, there's some, high-profile cases in the news, right? And people are always saying, oh, man, is this how judges are? Is this what really happens in our courtrooms? So I think one of the coolest parts or the best part of campaigning is, hey, this is my firsthand experience of what's happening in the courtrooms, what's happening in your name, right, under the color of law. And this is allegedly what represented the community's interests. And I don't think these are the community's interests. I'm just going to go talk to you about it. Like when I tell that story about what happened with waiving your right to a trial in order to go down to juvenile court, right? Talking about people trying to get their cash back when police are taking under civil asset forfeiture. So having these type of conversations, and like not everyone's a lawyer, And the law stuff is like complicated and like they try to shroud it under mystery. And I just like being able to plainly speak with people. Like, hey, this is what's happening, and I don't think it's right. What do you think? And a lot of people, I'm just glad that a lot of people are like, I didn't even get to hear about these things. So just like having a conversations that haven't been had before is a victory for me.
So, there's been a lot of, how can I say it? I'm going to say it like this. It's a nightmare with this whole Brady list.
Mm.
So, my question to you is if you were in a position of a place, how would you handle that?
Yeah, so it's important. So the Brady list was released about, well, let's say in the last 1 to 3 weeks, approximately. You would know, go to my website. I announced I apologize, April 26, 2021, and since been on my website, released the Brady list. So I've been pushing for this for months, and the reason why I was on my website was interacting with activists that have been wanting to have this released. As a public defender, we didn't even have access to it. So we were representing people being charged with crimes. No idea if the officer involved in their case accusing them of these crimes are on this list, this Brady list, being accused of misconduct, right? Being accused of not being truthful in the past or using excessive force or who knows, right? Because we didn't have access to any of this information. So I think the first step is releasing, right? Activist pressure. I like to think my campaign pressure, but really just the people of Prince George's County calling for it is why the list was released. But I don't think it's enough. If you check the news across the country, every other week, there's so-and-so spent 20 years in jail, now they've been exonerated and released. And unfortunately, I think in Prince George's County, we need to, one, take that list, and we need to look at every single case those officers have been involved in over the last 30 years. God forbid there's people sitting in a cage right now, based upon the conduct of these officers, that the state's attorney's office is admitting these officers aren't credible. They're on my bad list. So we need to go, now that they're on the list, let's review every single one of those convictions. Because we can't take back the harm for the last couple of years, but we can stop doing harm going further. So I think that's one of the first things we need to do.
I like that.
Yeah.
Preventative next steps. Because I think there is a culture, from what I've seen, just the system at large, is we're never planning to prevent. We just accept and deal with whatever consequences come. And unfortunately, it always settles down to a settlement. And I don't even always think that a settlement is due just service, because it's always got to take something leading up. Like it's got to take something big. It's got to take it's got to take the public becoming outraged. It takes the public being upset. It takes for that. And there should definitely be a different system set into place that I feel, because as you just indicated, yes, it's how many more individuals could be locked up, innocent, based upon these officers. You know what I'm saying? And so I know people that have have been asking me about that. Just right now, basically saying that they don't trust the current system. They don't trust the current state's attorney's office, because they feel like did it get only just now get released because it's election time? They're like, why couldn't it have been released beforehand? So enough to say, like a little fly, a little swat. Okay, I'll throw it out here now. But why did it take so long? So I'm really glad that that's the approach in which that you're going to take on that, because I actually heard you say that at another community engagement meeting, and I think that's really important, because my thing is that okay, so this shirt I have on right here says "We Take Care of Us" movement. Okay. Mm-hmm. And what this movement does is it's a small grassroots group, only a handful of individuals, where when there is an issue in the community, we try to provide those services, those underserved services, whether it be mental health, whether it be employment, whatever the issue may be. I'm always out there, screaming Black Power, wake up, King, wake up, God. You a black man, you a king, rise up, right? So, this is what I'm doing. We've been seeing the history of, the guns keep going off. We've been seeing, just gun violence is just out of hand. So, right? So I had a real moment from an individual, what I would like to call a big mama of a community, about about 72 years of age. And I'm out there, I'm just going in. Black men, y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to, put these guns down. It's okay to, I'm going in like 360 degrees. You know what I'm saying? I'm going ham. Y'all need to put these, y'all got to protect the community. Y'all got to do this, da 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 da, right? So, this big mama pulled me aside. She said, listen, I hear what you're saying. It's good. Good work. Here's the problem. When you have officers who are not doing their job, when you have officers like on this Brady list, why do you think this is continuing the cycle? Because if you had actual officers that were doing their job appropriately and not actually causing harm, do you really think that these guns would be going off as rapid and constant? And so, I'm glad that that you said that, because I think this is an issue. I'm going down, I'm checking the community, you know what I'm saying? But it took somebody of word of wisdom to say, hey, hold up. I get what you're saying. Community does need to do their thing. Black man does need to rise up, but we're supposed to have law enforcement. In our day, she said, in our day we had officer friendly. She said, but we don't have an officer friendly because the officers we have are the ones that's actually causing harm in the community.
No, it's a good point. I think with my clients, they often express to me, of course I didn't say anything to those officers. They're the same officers that are always harassing me, right? They always pull me over by that stop sign, right? They're always stopping me when I'm outside with my friends, sitting on a porch. So I think it's the same people that you need as witnesses for these events. Those same individuals are from the same communities that are being over-policed, that where some of these bad officers that are accused of misconduct are doing some of that misconduct. And people are smart. People understand their interests and they know what they're experiencing. I do want to highlight a campaign event that I'm having a holiday party at the Bus Boys on December 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. And why am I highlighting it? Because we're doing a toiletries drive. So we're gathering toiletries and it's going to go to the men's shelter in Capitol Heights, the only men's homeless shelter in Prince George's County. And I know, as someone who's done criminal defense work, so many of my clients, the rent is too darn high, right? I mean, it's too darn high for me, and I got a pretty good job. So I know for others, they struggle with housing. So even as we're trying to get this position of power, we're going to serve the community at the same time. So if you're watching, you got toiletries, you want to support, please come by and drop off some toiletries in December.
And speaking of that, I want to ask you this question before we close out. So you've seen me. You've seen the press release that was put out about the men's shelter. You saw the negligence that was happening down there with the roof caving in and the rats and the mold.
Unfortunate.
We saw that. But one of the things that's really big here in Prince George's County is because of the fact that there are limited resources, and that's due to no oversight. There's no oversight to make sure that, hey, we have funding, we have access to, use our federal government to request funding and whatnot, blase, the whole shebang. They're giving individuals an 800 number for them to call, and we're in the 21st century and we don't have payphones. Oh, that's a whole nother topic. But a lot of the individuals that I work with, with the We Take Care of Us movement, with Community Justice and a couple of the other organizations that I represent. But primarily what I've noticed is that individuals may get petty charges. They may get something like a trespass charge because they're sitting down at a bus stop. They're not doing nothing. They're just at the bus stop because they don't have a way of getting to the destination, or they're just up under the little bus hub, to protect themselves from what other elements. What? How would you handle incidents like that? Because I really think that when you know I for me, even though I'm not an attorney, but I'm just saying like if I were to see something somebody say trespass warrant was sitting at a bus stop, like I think that's like petty.
No, I'm with you. It's more so petty. It's not a crime, right? So I think there's even been research, because I think Marilyn Mosby in Baltimore City, Rachel Rollins in Boston, and they did research actually in Boston, that for some of these low-level offenses, it actually reduces recidivism rate. That means people are less likely to be involved in the system if you just straight out dismiss those low-level misdemeanors. So individuals struggling with homelessness, prosecuting them, right, for trespass or disorderly conduct, that doesn't make our community safer. And the story I always tell is, when I was in law school, I did eviction defense work. And I remember I was speaking with a woman who had 3 children. Her 17-year-old son was arrested at a McDonald's about two miles away from their apartment complex. So obviously, not walking distance, right? Close, but not walking distance. And she was facing eviction. Why? Because in her lease, you could get evicted for criminal activity on or near the property, right? And that McDonald's 2 miles away was... So now you have this 17-year-old being arrested for marijuana, right? It's a multi-million-dollar industry. Mm-hmm. And now you got his brothers, his sisters, and his mom facing eviction for that. Mm-hmm. And I say, does that make our community safer? If that child goes to jail and those people get evicted, is that going to make people less likely or more likely to need to enter the black market, right? So and I think that the technical term is collateral consequences. And here's an even more important fact. Every second that prosecutors spend on a misdemeanor drug case, on a trespass case, that's moments we're not spending on gun violence, right? That's moments we're not preparing for the issues that actually harm our community. So I say we're going to get rid of that nonsense, and we're going to put more resources into protecting the public safety.
So one last final question for the audience. What would you be opposed to a community committee that would be able to report to your office to say, hey, I understand, you may be taking cases, because I get it. When you go into, let's just speak this into existence. You got the position.
Okay, gonna knock on wood.
You go in there. So you're going to be bombarded with a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that's going to be different. Mm-hmm. So you may not necessarily be able to get to a lot of the, to make those due time changes. Would you be opposed to having, particularly in District 8? We all know District 8 is a huge hot spot when it comes to these types of charges. These little misdemeanor charges for no trespass warrants and stuff like that. Would you be opposed to having some type of committee where the community can come to you, report you, do something? Because I think that's what's missing. Like, I think if we had a system that was set up to say, hey, hold up, I need to assign so-and-so to this, so that way, these reports, because you're going to be having other cases. You might be having other serious, I don't know if you've have known or been able to be out in the Camp Springs area. They had a tent city, and I want to say about 2 months ago, it's cleared. Mm-hmm. But the only way it got cleared was, you already know, clink, clink, y'all can't be here, you don't get out of here, clink, clink, you know what I'm saying? So would you be opposed to having some type of support with working with an organization, nonprofit organization, that would be able to
bring those issues? No, of course not. As I said before, I feel like I was really shaped by my experiences, going to protests, right, organizing against certain issues in college, and that shaped the type of lawyer that I am today. So I like to describe myself as a community lawyer. I'm a lawyer that goes out in the community, sees what people are being involved in, and that really shapes the type of things I want to do in the courtroom. So obviously I want to continue that work. I don't want to change the type of lawyer I am when
That's right.
I'm elected.
That's right. And on this platform, y'all, we believe in life and death and power of the tongue. We believe in speaking positivity. We believe in speaking affirmations. You know, uh, y'all, I just want to say this. It's time to stop sitting down and get somebody on a cape, some golden cape with magical dust behind. It's gonna come and save us. That's just the bottom line. And so, in order for true change to take place, it involves us getting involved with the political process. It involves us talking to individuals like this. And I have always said this from day one. Anytime that you're voting for an individual, if you can't even see that individual, to even ask that individual a question, why are you voting for them? Because at the end of the day, it's we the people. And the officials are here to serve we the people. If it's no people, if the community is not at the table, guess what? They don't have a job. Right? So we've got to make sure that we do our due diligence. Step it up to the plate, make ourselves, available, so that way, we can become the change that we want to see. You know what I'm saying? I know, I get it, that individuals feel a little bit challenged. I have said it before. It was once upon a time where I was not involved with politics, but until I actually took the time to be directly impacted by this system is what courage gave me the courage to start saying, you know what, I gotta get involved. I can't just be on the sidelines. I can't be sitting down looking in. I can't be. I gotta see what I can do. I may not be able to make a policy, but I can put an idea. Maybe I can do an essay and give it to someone who can create legislation. That's how change takes place. You know what I'm saying? And then get on the grassroots level. Get on the grassroots level. Get involved. Get active. Get engaged. You see, in you in the Prince George's County area. Maybe you don't actually live in Prince George's County, but maybe you might have somebody that does live in here. Maybe you do have someone that have a family. Maybe you have a cousin or somebody of such. I would truly encourage you. This is the time for you to get involved, to get engaged. The state's attorney. I have dealt with several youth that I know of. Yes, several individuals as being an advocate in the streets, representing the community, and now the new coalition that has arrived in Prince George's County called the Healthy DMV and Me Coalition, courtesy of Kingdom Life Outreach and the beloved Dr. Ronna Hamilton and Overseer Ann Coles. See, this is what it's about. This is what it's about. It's about getting involved, getting engaged. Uncut Live, this is what we do. We don't just talk about, we don't just sit here. You see the brother right here himself. The brother going to tell you how people can get involved. You see a black brother of excellence. He's a graduate. What was the school that you graduated from?
Howard for college, Harvard for law school.
Harvard for law school. A black brother. To all my youth that follow this platform, you just heard the brother talk about some of the things that he's seen in the community, that he's seen that he thought was not good for the community. This is what black excellence is right here. This is a brother who could tell you about how to get there. College, whatever. Whatever it is that you are on the path in the pursuit of, this is what black excellence looks right here. A black brother. I'm talking about my brothers right now. So nobody get mad or get offended. I'm talking about black men, black excellence, black men of prestige, black men of caliber. Black men that said, you know what? I got to do something different. I got to get engaged. This is the path. This is a journey. And it can happen. Oftentimes, we can get this distortion that comes from the powers that be to tell us well, I'm black because I come from the hood, or I come from this type of, environment. I can't do it. No, it's some brothers, some sharpshooters is out here that you can look, that you can see, and be able to know that this is a model to go after. So before closing out, Mr. Stanford, can you tell the people how they can get involved, where they can find you at?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you just go to my website, Stanford, like the college, Fraiser, FRASER.com. See my platform. You can sign up for my mailing list. If you have toiletries you want to donate to the men's shelter, come see me in Busboys and Poets on December 14th from 6 to 8 p.m. And hey, this is my Google Voice number, 240-221-1916. Give me a text or a call. I prefer a text.
And so there you have it, y'all. There you have it. So this is your candidate. Get involved. Get involved. Go on there. Check out the website. I've had, I think it's probably been about 3 meetings that I've sat in with you, and this brother is someone that is visible in the community. Matter of fact, he heard me complain about the homeless being charged and the trespass. That's how I'm going, because I just y'all know I'm a humanitarian at heart, but when I see a lot of my black brothers getting caught up in this system for petty stuff, we can't have that. And so this is the kind of candidate that you want. You heard the brother, Stanford.
Fraiser.com.
Type it in. Go on there. See what it's about. Get active. Get engaged. And hey, change won't come until you get involved. As I always say on every show, we are all we got. We are all we need. Each one reach one. Each one help one. Each one uplift one. Uplift. Each one encourage one. Each one love one. We all we got. We all we need. You have now just been plugged in with your boy, Mr. Uncut.